This is Clear Sky Productions here, and just real quickly before I begin, I'd like to apologize if the lighting in my room is not that great, because I still haven't gotten the stupid light bulb changed out. So yeah, I do apologize for that in advance. Okay, so this is a pretty long overdue video, I say. And because it's so long overdue, I decided to, basically, instead of just making like video after video of the stuff I wanted to talk about earlier, instead I decided to make just an entire video explaining all of the reasons why Feld is such a dumpster fire right now. An absolute dumpster fire, seriously, there's just no other way to put it. And especially with the latest move that Feld did with the World Finals, that was pretty much the final nail in the coffin, I believe, for Monster Jam. More on that in a second. But I'm going to start at the very beginning, where the sport really began to go downhill. Okay, first off, the tracks. We pretty much all know this by now, but the tracks are horrible. They are absolutely horrible. This is what the tracks are. See this? See this? They are garbage. Yeah, garbage. This right here. The only difference between this and your tracks, Feld, is that instead of the garbage being down here, it's way up here, and it's overflowing all around the can. Yeah, except for that one difference. This is what your tracks are. Oh yes, they are. And no, Feld, adding like 2 cars half buried into the dirt does not fix it. In fact, what that tells us, by making such minimal changes to your track and putting such minimal effort into making a track that appeases the fans, that shows us you don't really care about your fans. All you care about is money. You make slight changes to your tracks, like throwing that random bus that was almost buried in the dirt at the World Finals last year, and adding a few random cars in. What that tells us is you make such minimum changes, hoping that the fans that left, probably for Monster Truck Throwdown, they're just gonna flock on back in, and you'll continue to rake in the dough. Well, guess what, Feld? It's getting old. And that tactic only works for so long. And at this point, it's becoming clear it's not going to work any longer. Assuming it even worked in the first place, that is. Yeah, the tracks are just absolutely awful. Let me get back to the tracks themselves here for a minute before moving on. It's basically motocross for monster trucks. Seriously, that is all it is. Dirt jumping, 2-wheel competitions, nobody cares about that. What people want to see is cars and stuff getting crushed. That's what people want to see. That's what people want to see. They want to see cars get flattened, vans get flattened. They want to see motorhomes being plowed right through. That's the kind of stuff people want to see. And some of the other random stuff like, planes and boats, whatever other random stuff they can put out there. That's what people want to see. Watching trucks just jump dirt ramps over and over and over again, no one cares about it. It's exciting for maybe 15 minutes, 20 at the most, maybe. But it gets old, a lot older, a lot quicker than crushing cars and stuff. And there's a video I uploaded, I don't even know how long ago this was, it was a while ago, but I put a video on my channel proving that there was no need for a carless track. Because, I've had people, Feld fanboys come up to me all the time saying stuff like, but with the dirt ramps, they can do more tricks, and they can do new wheelies, new tricks, blah, 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 blah. I put a video up debunking that whole thought process. It's on my channel. I'll put a link to it below in the description, actually. You can go check that out. But I found a video on Feld's Instagram that proves you don't need dirt ramps to do these 2-wheel, like, moonwalks and stuff that these trucks do. You don't need dirt. Like, at all. Literally. There was an arena somewhere in Florida, I think it was. It was literally cars and a couple vans on a concrete floor, and a truck jumped off the cars and balanced on the back 2 wheels. So no, you don't need dirt ramps to do that kind of stuff. Go check the video out. So no, there's just no excuse for these awful dirt tracks. There's literally no excuse whatsoever. I have factually proven that. And, not to mention the hideous paint schemes in the tracks don't really help either. I'm sorry, but black dirt just looks horrible. It almost looks like a pile of elephant maneuver. That's what it looks like. Mixed in with, like, lime green. Ugh. But they probably did that for sponsorship reasons with Monster Energy. Again, I'll get to that later, but yeah, the horrible paint schemes, they're not helping either. So yeah, the tracks are just awful. So that's the first point I want to make. The second point I want to make is fan judges. Feld, just give it up already, okay? Give it up! I seriously don't understand your obsession with having fans judge these events. I really don't get it. It makes no sense. What is the point of having fans involved in the event if all it does, 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10, just screw up the entire results? What's the point of that? Almost every single YouTube video I watch of the winner of a said event in a said city, all the comments are people saying this person should have won or that person should have won. It's ridiculous. Fans do not know how to vote. And there are just too many fans out there, and especially kids. No offense, but like, kids just don't know how to vote. I know it sounds mean, but they don't. Because fans, who are children, naturally speaking, have a tendency to be biased in favor of their favorite trucks, especially Gravedigger and Maximum Destruction. No, I'm not going to call it Max Ski. I'm going to call it Maximum Destruction. I hope that doesn't offend you, but there's just too many biased fans out there, and it just doesn't work. It's the same reason why Major League Baseball doesn't use fans as umpires. Can you imagine? Yes, I know a lot of people would be upset about that, but yet it would screw the sport up so bad. You guys see what I'm saying? Even though people would be against it, it would still screw up the sport because you just have too many fans out there, even if they aren't the majority. There's still too many of them. They would be biased and they would just screw up the entire event. You see what I'm saying, Feld? That's why fan judges do not work. They don't work. Changing the format to include the entire audience instead of 5 or 6 fans or whatever really does not help the matter much at all. It really doesn't. It still doesn't work. So what you need to do is just ditch the entire fan judging idea altogether and just hire officials. And what's more, there's no need for fan judging. Why do you use fan judging in the first place? Is it to get the fans more involved? Really? Is that such a big goal for you? Do fans really care about fan judging that much? Oh, gee, we get to pick the winners for freestyle? Oh, gee willikers! That's so much fun! No, Feld, they don't care about it. When it screws up the event like that, they could care less. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And of course, like I mentioned before, you have overrated trucks. Yeah, I know, another point I'll get to later. But you have so many overrated trucks that could go out there, hit one jump, break down, and a bunch of fans. Go Gravedigger! 10! It doesn't work, Feld. It doesn't work. Give it a fan judging, please. Okay, the third point I want to make is the sponsorships. Oh my gosh. Okay, Monster Jam has the worst examples of sponsorships I think I've ever seen. You guys go as far as to sponsorize, I don't know if sponsorize is a real word, but it is now. You go as far as to sponsorize the backflip ramp? Are you joking? Are you literally out of your minds? You want to sponsorship the backflip ramp? You know what? Why not sponsorize the crush cars while you're at it? Or the dirt ramps? The crowd! Sponsorize the entire crowd! Why stop there, Feld? Why stop there? Seriously. and your BKT... How much money did BKT pay you to mention their brand name every single time your horrible announcers, more than a second, mention BKT tires? How much money did they pay you? Well, he's a little loose in that jump, but managed to land on that front left BKT tire. They never mentioned tires without mentioning BKT before. It's like BKT tires is just all one word. Oh, that's how they use the term. That is ridiculous, Feld. And not to mention it's unnecessary. We can clearly see the BKT logo right there on the tire itself. It's right there, we can see it. The next point I want to make, overrated trucks. This is a pretty big one for me. 4 gravediggers in the World Finals. 4 gravediggers. Are you joking, Feld? Are you joking? Is that necessary? That was rhetorical. It's not necessary. It's not. You know, back in the olden days, when, like, say more than one gravedigger driver would make it to the World Finals, you know what you did back then? Which, no, you didn't do, because I don't think this was before Feld. I don't know if Feld was in it since the beginning, or if they came along later, I don't remember, but anyway, that's not really the point. In the olden days, when more than one gravedigger driver made it to the World Finals, like you would have Dennis Anderson in Gravedigger, and then some of the other drivers, like Pablo Huffaker, drove different trucks, like Blacksmith. You didn't have 4 or 5 gravediggers all out there, you know. No, you didn't have that crap. And you know, see, it was bad enough when they had different paint schemes for the gravediggers. Okay, back then it was bad enough. But of course Feld, being Feld naturally, took the one slight good thing about it and just took it away. So now we just have a bunch of gravediggers with all the exact same generic paint scheme we've seen more times than we ever wished to out there on the tracks. Like, oh, okay, Gravedigger's done freestyle, and who's next? Oh, Gravedigger again. Okay. Oh, here comes Gravedigger again. Oh, look, Tommy, it's Gravedigger again. And it's not just Gravedigger. It's the same thing with Maximum Destruction. Most overrated truck. I would say Maximum Destruction is just a bit more overrated than Gravedigger. Although with Dennis Anderson retired, it's pretty much neck and neck at this point. Yeah, like, the Maximum Destruction drivers are just... I mean, they're good, but they're not that good. They're pretty overrated, except for Tom Entz, of course. He's awesome, but... We're tired of seeing these trucks win all the time. It's just like the New England Patriots. Like, unless you were a Patriots fan, pretty much everybody cheered for the Eagles, myself included. Awesome night that night. But... well, yeah, because, like, people were just tired of seeing the Patriots win over and over and over again. And you failed by throwing 3, 4, 5 gravediggers in the same event. Does not work. And again, is it necessary? Well, no, it's not necessary. We've made that clear already. Because people don't care about it. 1 gravedigger is all you need. That is enough to make the fans happy. You don't need 4 gravediggers, Feld. You don't. More than 1 gravedigger? Gee willikers! Do you see what I'm saying here? This petty stuff you keep adding, like, no one cares about. I made my point pretty clear, I think, so far. So let's move on. The next thing I would like to talk about, point number, what am I on now? 4? 5? I lost count, that's how peeved I am. The next point I want to make, the announcers. Oh my gosh. These announcers that you have, I don't know their names, I don't remember their names, but they are awful. The worst sports announcers I have ever heard in my life. They are worse than any sports announcer I have heard anywhere in my life. And yes, before you ask, you viewers out there, yes, that does include Joe Buck. Yes, I would rather listen to this.
Mitchell. Mitchell. Down to the 25.
Then listen to these awful announcers in Monster Jam. You know what they sound like? They sound like stupid college students who took the job to pay for their college classes. That's what they sound like. They sound like, you know those amateur YouTube videos? Hey, I have a notification on my YouTube channel, but no time for that now. Yeah, anyway. So, you know on YouTube, those amateur Rigs of Rod videos? I think that's what it's called, Rigs of Rod, something like that. You have those YouTubers doing their amateur commentary on other people doing their runs on Rigs of Rod. That's what these people sound like. There is nothing professional about them at all. They sound like whiny, unprofessional, unskilled, amateur people who do it for YouTube views. And yet for some reason they're out there in the public? The official thing? That's what I liked about Scott Douglas and Mike, whatever his name was, from the olden days. No, not because I'm a fanboy or anything. Don't even use that card on me. Because they sounded professional. They sounded like they were interested in the event that they were commentating on. Unlike the guys now, who, like I said, sound like they are only in it so they can walk out at night. Alright, where's my paycheck? Oh, great. Oh, this will cover my college class. The last point I would like to make is the World Finals. Yes, the World Finals. So I'm sure most of you have heard by now, and again, I meant to do a video solely on this, like, days ago, but I never got around to it. But I'm sure most of you have heard by now that the Monster Jam World Finals will be moved to MetLife Stadium in 2019, next year, for World Finals 20, which would, in theory, make World Finals 19 this year, the last World Finals to take place at Sam Boyd Stadium. Now, for me personally, I have a few mixed thoughts on this, but with that said, oh no, don't even think about getting comfortable, Feld. No, listen to what I have to say. But the Monster Jam fans in general are not happy about this. And see, that's the thing, I'm not here just to speak my opinion on this. I'm here to attempt to represent the Monster Jam community as a whole. And the Monster Jam community as a whole, they are not happy with this move. They're not happy with it. Now, yes, it's true, Sam Boyd Stadium is in contention for demolition with the whole Raiders thing going on. But that's not till at least 2020. So why are you doing it now? And not to mention, do you have to hold this in a generic stadium? Like MetLife Stadium? How are you going to do the racing brackets that you do or not brackets, I'm sorry, the racing format that you used in Sam Boyd Stadium? Yeah, you're not going to use that at MetLife Stadium. I mean, what are you going to do? Chicago style? At the World Finals? No. That's not going to work, Feld. It's not going to work. At all. See, instead of going to different stadiums like MetLife Stadium and all these other stadiums, what happened to those makeshift bleachers you used in Japan? It was either Japan or China, I can't remember, but there's a show you guys did somewhere overseas, and you literally built a makeshift stadium. You just took a bunch of, like, portable bleachers, just set them up, and had your show there. So why can't you do that? Because if you do it that way, you can put your bleachers wherever you need to, want to, and guess what? You can still do the Vegas-style racing format where they race outside the established venue, race inside, and jump the cars. It should be cars anyway. Not just dirt. But, yeah, why can't you do that instead of going to all these events we've been to before? Like, MetLife Stadium? Really? the site of the most overhyped Monster Jam event all year. I'm not going to get into that now because that's really for a different video, but like, yeah, what are you going to do? Like, how are you going to establish the World Finals at that venue? You're not going to use the same track you used in all your other shows every year. I mean, you could, but that's not going to work. You think people are going to travel all the way to the World Finals to see a different track? Or, I'm sorry, the same track they've seen before? With the same racing format? The same dirt jumps? Oh, you'd be asking for failure if you did that, Feld. So, yeah, like, why not just set up portable bleachers, like an artificial stadium type thing, and do it that way? And, you know, not to mention, you'd be a bit more flexible on where you could put it. You're not limited to a single established building somewhere, like MetLife Stadium. So just food for thought. That pretty much concludes this video, so, this is Curse Guy Productions. Thank you as always for watching, as always, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoyed. So until next time, this is Curse Guy Productions, signing off. Good day, folks.